after...
I don't know if you're actually going yet.
Not sure that I'm actually going yet. No, we're live. Excellent. As you can tell, this is only my second live, so please bear with me. I'm a little bit more organised this week, so I should see if you comment. So if you're on and you're watching, please say hi. And if you have any questions while I'm chatting, then definitely ask them, because yeah, it's always good to chat in a way. I'm a bit more organised this week with the setup, so I will see your comments and everything else. Thank you everyone for your lovely comments and messages after last week's live. I really appreciate your support and hope that this live will also be helpful as well. I thought I'd talk this evening about routine. I mentioned it last week, and it's the number one question I've had since the change to learning at home for everyone. So first things first though, well done everyone. We've made it through another week, yay, of this very different situation that we're in. I hope you're being kind to yourselves and recognising your achievements, because what we're all doing isn't easy. It isn't easy for us as parents, and also for the kids as well. So I hope everyone's giving themselves a pat on the back every now and then. And if you haven't been, then do it now. Right, let's talk about routine. The secret here that I've found is to keep it simple. I've seen lots of articles on posts online about parents and the way that they're managing the change and the education from home. And some of them are actually scheduling their day to the hour, bit by bit. I understand the need for structure and organisation. We're all uncertain, and sometimes that is comforting. The only thing I would say about that is, if that works for your child and for you, that's great. But just remember that that kind of schedule is a lot of work for you to keep it going, especially when we're not just looking after the children and trying to keep their education going, but we're also working and keeping the house running and everything else that we're doing as well. Our routine, as I said last week, is really simple. I only focus on a couple of things that I really would like the children to do each day during our home ed activities time, before we move on and we focus more on free time and play. So we've all been at home together now for a couple of weeks. Everyone's hopefully getting into a bit of a routine, getting into the swing of things. But I think it's a really good time to sit down on a Sunday evening with a cuppa or a glass of wine, why not, and look forward to the coming week, while also taking a moment to reflect on the last couple of weeks, or even just the last week. We try and do this to plan for the week ahead. And it's a really good thing to do, and a good habit to get into as well. When you're looking back and reflecting, it's always good to ask what has worked well, what do you want to do again, because obviously that's really positive and a great way to start planning your week. But in terms of what hasn't worked well, that's a really good thing to look at as well. And don't think, oh, let's not do that again. Think about it in terms of, why didn't it work? You know, was it the wrong time to try it with the children? Were they hungry? Were they tired? Were they too interested in finishing playing a game that they were involved in, or a book that they were reading? You know, how can we change that so it will work better next time? And even though I've been home educating for 3 years, I still have activities where it just doesn't work. And so I have to change my tack, change what I'm doing, think about it again, take a step back, look at it, and then try again. Because even though I know it's something that I think they'll really enjoy, I've just got the timing wrong. And a lot of it comes down to how the kids are going day to day. Some days are good, some days aren't as good. We're all human. I think, you know, take a moment to think about the kind of routine for you that you'd like for next week. You know, our routine hasn't changed at all in the last week. We get up early and go for a walk first thing. We get out in the woods. We have a run around with the dog. You've hopefully all seen the videos of the kids zooming down the hill in the Tonka truck. So thank you, Grandpa, for that present. Well done. We love it. This morning, Jonathan also pulled out his old mountain board last night, and they took that with them. that worked really well, and helped Daddy out as well, because when he had to pull the kids uphill on this thing, it was much easier than the Tonka truck apparently. So there you go, top tip. After our walk and our run around, we come home for breakfast to start our day. We are really bound by times in the morning because of our work commitments. So it works for us, and it's important for us to be up early and walking before the start of the day, because I want the kids active. I have a child who is just much better in the mornings. That's a big reason as well for us getting up early and getting out. And so that's why the focus for us is on getting the work done in the mornings, because then in the afternoon, if they're getting tired, a little less willing to do activities, in more need of just relaxation, chilling out, then at least we have the afternoons for that. For our 9-year-old, we focus on maths activities. That's a big thing that we're doing at the moment. We use a couple of apps, and one of them is Tables Fables, which I shared during the week in one of the tips, and that is brilliant. It's absolutely been a game changer for the way that we look at times tables, and it's really helping with division as well. We also focus on English, and we do that through journaling, emails, and sending cards to friends. Our 9-year-old is not a big fan of writing at all, so there has to be a really good reason to write. And so by doing things a little bit differently, and coming up with different activities and more fun things, we actually get him to do his writing, and he's really good at it, and his writing is beautiful as well. Really, really neat. Once that's done with the English and maths focus, it's time to play, read, or do project work, and I'll come back to project work in a minute. For our 6-year-old, the focus is very much on reading and writing, as well as maths, so general arithmetic. We do this through books, worksheets, colouring activities. We also use an app, and that's the Reading Eggs that I shared this week, and that's another one we absolutely love. That covers a really broad age range, so if you haven't looked at it, do have a look at it, because it's something different if you're not familiar with it already. And the best bit is you get a 30-day free trial, so it's free. What's not to love? The app that we use, the Reading Eggs, isn't just the reading. It has a big focus on phonics and reading, so it covers blending sounds, sight words, but it also covers maths as well, so there's a math seeds element to it. So that's really good, because our 6-year-old gets both the practice of writing, physical writing, as well as the fun games, and helps with the development going on. Mentioned before, we do a lot of project type activities. We recently did a project that I found on the Natural History Museum site. Given that both our children are very much into natural history, that is a huge focus for us and core to a lot of what we do with home ed. This particular project was about Dippy, the Diplodocus, who's been touring the UK. It covered both my children's age groups, because there were 2 separate packs. It was looking at fossils, timelines of when dinosaurs were around, how species have evolved, making a bird feeder, bird watcher, making an actual replica using paper of part of Dippy's leg to see how big he was compared to the kids, which they loved. It's really, really fun, and I will be sharing that tomorrow as the tip, so do look out for it, because that's got lots of stuff in it. It's not something that you have to do all at once. You can dip in and out of it as you feel like, and depending on whether the kids are enjoying it or not. We also try to choose a book each week or so to focus on, and that's been a tip that I've posted about as well. And we like to try and read together and do activities on it. And the children have free rein in choosing their book, so it's one each. And we have the usual favourites of Stickman. Julia Donaldson is very popular in our house, but our 9-year-old, predictably, chose a dinosaur encyclopedia. So what I posted about were a couple of activities that we did for the encyclopedia, So it just shows that it doesn't really matter what book you use, you can come up with activities that are fun. It's just really using your imagination, thinking about it, and focusing on what the children want to do and allowing them to lead the activities and to lead and show you their interests. If it's something you're doing, then you might want to just do one book for multiple children to start with, or perhaps choose the book yourself just to see how you go and to take a bit of pressure off in terms of having to find ideas for activities. If you get stuck, you know where I am, let me know. Lots of things to do, and very happy to help and have a chat through. While the children are doing their activities, this is the time that I work. So I work from 9 until lunchtime. There are natural breaks for me in the work that I'm doing, but there are also other times when I cannot be disturbed. So obviously we work on that. It's still work in progress, like most things. The children are pretty good, but the way we do that day to day is to talk about it. And we talk about everything in our house. Jonathan and I have the policy that we are honest with the children. If they ask a question, we will answer it. Obviously, we tailor that for their age group. But we've never really had issues where the children don't feel that their question is being answered. And so from my perspective, I think, okay, I've done my job. You know, I've answered the question to the point that they're happy with, but I know it was pitched at the right level for them and their age group, their development as well. So it does lead to really, really interesting conversations, and obviously we're talking a lot about what's going on at the moment. They know about coronavirus, we talk about it, they've watched some of the news reports, they've seen Boris Johnson talking, the other politicians as well. Our 6-year-old told us earlier this evening that her bunny has coronavirus, so unfortunately is quite ill. But that came out during one of her role plays. So we can see that it's going in and they're processing it, and that's how they're processing it, through their play, and then it comes out when they chat to us about what they're doing and involving us in their play as well. So it's a really good time to focus on communicating with your children, communicating as a family, because it will help with any anxiety about the current situation for the kids. So in terms of our activities, and going back to routine, that pretty much takes us through to lunch. And lunch is our hard stop in a way, in that then the afternoon is lots of play, other activities, cooking. We tend to cover science in the afternoons as well, whether it's getting out science kits, the Dippy project, you know, different things that are fun. It's very much child-led. What do the kids want to do? What are they interested in? And I really take the cue from them. As I said last week, definitely encourage play. It's so good for them, and we also want to remember that we're at home. You know, we're really focused on wanting the children to be relaxed, because that helps us stay relaxed. And, you know, it is a very strange time for all of us. And I just want the kids to be looking back on this time and be thinking, wow, we got to spend time at home with our parents and we had fun. You know, not be worried about the other stuff that's going on as much. You know, the play, I guess, distracts them a little bit, but it also keeps things calm. Another important part of our routine each day is exercise. Obviously it's important for everyone given the restrictions in place. We can only go out for exercise and a few other limited things. As well as our early morning walk, I always try and do something exercise-wise with the kids in the afternoon. That's really just to clear the cobwebs, especially if they're getting grumpy, just generally because they're tired or they're at a loose end, and especially if they're getting grumpy with each other. We do indoor workouts. You've probably seen some of the photos of me looking very glamorous in my gym gear. We have an indoor rebounder, the indoor trampoline, and some small hand weights. So the kids love experimenting with those. There are so many videos on YouTube for workouts, trampoline workouts. You could do that outdoor in the garden with them. Yoga, and also things like mindfulness as well. That's a really good one that we should probably talk about too if people are interested in mindfulness and meditation. It's good at time for you guys to get out any gym gear you have lying around the place. One of my goals for while we're in this current lockdown situation, whatever we want to call it, is to improve my fitness. So as well as it being good to get the kids doing the exercise, I'm also exercising as well at the same time. So I'm setting a good example, but also working on something for me. I'm being kind for me. If you're not into the indoor workouts, exercising, you just think, oh my God, not something else I have to think about, then frankly, put on the music, crank it up, and have fun. Because kids usually love to dance, have a dance party, get them moving around for a bit, and that is your exercise done. You know, you'll see them running around, having a great time. The kids and I have been trying to do a virtual 5K most days, or most afternoons, and this usually means that I'm the one jogging, power walking with the weights on the rebounder, taking it seriously, while the kids are jogging, power walking, jumping, dancing, moving around, because we use the music as well. And the fact that they're moving, I'm really happy, because that just is a big tick for me, because it gets them moving once in the afternoon as well as the morning. Getting them out in the garden is also good. Thankfully the weather seems to be improving, touch wood before I jinx it. So always good to chuck them out in the garden, do some outdoor activities, or just let them play, let them explore and enjoy being outside again. I touched on screen time as well last week, and I know that this is always a concern for parents. We use the iPads as part of our homemade activities. I mean, I talked before about a couple of the key apps that we use, and we use that virtually on a daily basis. We do keep that to a minimum because I want the kids playing, I want them interacting, I want them doing different things, not just on the apps. But, you know, we also do watch documentaries as well. The kids are really interested in World War II, so we're watching documentaries on that, and they absolutely love David Attenborough. He is the bee's knees in our house. So we watch lots of his documentaries, and to be honest, we also watch movies. You know, why not? Do something as a family. It's really good to relax, let them unwind as well. So, you know, like I said last week, definitely try and encourage play over screen time, but also don't worry, things balance out. It does come out in the wash. I think the other main point in terms of routine, and my last point before I say goodbye, is consistency. This is really important. It's a change or time of change for everyone, so being consistent with routine helps keep things calm. For us, that's really important because one of our children needs a lot of support when it comes to dealing with change. So I'm very conscious of that, and that is also why our routine is simple, because the children know what to expect day to day. And if we need to make changes to that routine, and we do, you know, some days aren't going as well as others. Sometimes we have to change the times of meals. My husband or I need to go out to go shopping, so that changes things a bit. You know, we communicate the change, we talk about it, and our routine is flexible enough that we can keep the same kind of general structure, but change it a little bit. So, you know, I don't mean by consistency having everything running to a certain timeline or time every single day. The only thing that we have very consistently in terms of timing is what time the alarm goes off every morning, because it's the same time. But for the rest of it, obviously it depends on how we're going with work, how the kids are, and when we're ready to eat as well. That's a big guide as well. So that was really all I wanted to talk about tonight. I hope it's been helpful. Keep it simple, be consistent, and like I said last week, be kind to yourself, because we're all doing a lot, and you are doing a fantastic job. You're balancing lots and lots and lots of stuff. And it is hard, but hopefully it's also rewarding. It's really fun having this time and being at home with the kids, and it is really special. So yeah, I hope you're enjoying it too. There will be more daily tips. I hope everyone's enjoying them and finding them useful. If you're not, by all means let me know. If you come across any cool stuff, please share it. Please share it. As we said last week, it'd be lovely to have more that community feel while we're all going through the same thing together. Keep the questions coming, and as long as people are interested, I'll be back next week for more. I'm looking at doing a series of chats with different people about home education, learning at home, interesting topics and activities to do with the children. So stay tuned, and there will be more on that as it develops. That's really it. Thank you all for watching again, for taking the time, and speak to you soon. So bye!